Now, Psalms 23, verse 4 is our number 7 on our top 10 most searched for Bible verses on the internet. This famous verse was penned by King David about 3,000 years ago, and it would seem that he was going through a very dark period in his life. And perhaps for some of you watching this video right now, you can relate. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Leeming and welcome to the Thursday Bible Brief. Now, Psalms 23 verse 4 says this: "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." Now again, perhaps for some of you watching this video, you feel as though you're walking right now through your own valley of the shadow of death, or perhaps to use a more modern metaphor, you find yourself right now walking alone down a very dark and dangerous back alley somewhere in the middle of the night. Well, David, he walked down many dark alleys himself. We tend to think though, right, because he was a king, he had life easy, that all he did was play his harp in green pastures beside still waters, but nothing could have been further from the truth. He had very many dark periods in his life, namely when one of his own sons tried to overthrow the throne and have David killed. Psalm 23 is of course found in the book of Psalms of the Old Testament, and the book of Psalms contains 150 psalms or poems which were often either put to music or recited as liturgical prayers in the Jewish temple. Now, I should point out that David's usage of the metaphor of God being his caring shepherd was by no means unique just to David. It was actually quite a common metaphor back in those days. Even pagan people would use it to describe their own deities and even kings. But of course, for David, there was only one true God, only one true shepherd, the God of Israel, who lovingly guided him through the dark places of his life. And I think, though, there's more to it than just that for David, because remember, before he became king, he was a shepherd. He knew what it was like trying to get flocks through these dangerous valleys in order to get them to greener pastures. You see, in Israel, in that area where David grew up, a lot of the terrain, a lot of narrow valleys with high cliff walls that would cast shadows across the narrow valley floors, making them very dangerous places. They were perfect places for ambushes, perfect places for lions to hide and then just suddenly pounce, or of course human predators, thieves and robbers to hide as well. So they were dangerous places, and yet a shepherd had to take his flocks through those areas to get them to greener pastures. And that's how life is, right? We have to go through dark times in our lives in order to experience greener pastures. It's unfortunate, I find, that there is this assumption in our modern Western culture that it is our natural birthright to live happy, fulfilled lives, free of all worry, living healthy, having meaning and purpose, living healthy until we're in our 90s, and then one glorious night die peacefully in our sleep. But again, life is not like that. Life has many ups and downs, twists and turns, many dark periods that are beyond our control, and yet we have to go through those dark valleys. And I would also say it's unfortunate that many in the church have taken on board this thinking of the world, and many think that just because they're Christians, that they're going to have these wonderful lives. They're going to be wealthy and healthy. And that's just not true. We all have to go through our own dark valleys. So the question is, will we allow God to be our faithful and caring shepherd to guide us through?